Please subscribe.
With the 2019 Ranger, Ford By and By has a pickup truck for purchasers who don't flourish with superlatives. The 2019 Ford Ranger is a moderate-sized truck that carries out pickup responsibilities superior to anything its opponents and about each path without taking up a whole carport like a F-150. It'll tow and pull as much as most purchasers will ever need, and its inside is open enough for a group of 4. Generally speaking, we rate the 2019 Ranger at 6.0 out of 10, a strong appearing for a decent truck that squares off against failing to meet expectations rivals. Officer XL, XLT, and Lariat trims can be spruced up with a more extensive scope of choices and appearance bundles than in many opponents. The Ranger gets off to a decent begin with its 270 torque 2.3-liter turbo 4 and 10-speed programmed transmission. The motor and transmission work and show to convey solid speeding up and shockingly great efficiency evaluations. An appropriately prepared Ranger is appraised to tow up to 7,500 pounds, 500 more than its adversaries. The Ranger pursues pickup truck tradition with its different step outline, free front suspension, and strong back pivot with leaf springs. Its electric power directing conveys fresh, straight dealing with, and its ride is less fun than most other medium-sized pickup trucks. Race-wheel drive is standard and low-maintenance four-wheel drive framework activated by a handle before the apparatus switch is discretionary. Portage makes some four-wheeling rigging, for example, a rough terrain voyage control framework and a locking back differential accessible, yet so far there's no genuine apparatus to match the Chevy Colorado ZR2 or Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro. The Ranger comes in expanded and group taxi setups. Expanded taxis have great space and advance, yet no place for grown-ups in a couple of back seats. Team taxis are sufficiently extensive for one normal-sized grown-up to sit behind another. Expanded taxi Rangers have a 6-foot bed, while team taxis have a 5-foot bed. No Ranger is extravagant inside, yet the XL and XLT are all around prepared as their costs. A base Ranger XL costs about $25,500, yet most purchasers will burn through $2,200 more for the group taxi, and many will fly in an extra $4,000 for four-wheel drive. A four-wheel drive Ranger XLT with the discretionary 8.0-inch touchscreen for infotainment, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto ability, and a couple of dynamic well-being highlights notwithstanding the praiseworthy standard programmed crisis-breaking costs about $37,000. Modest, the Ranger isn't, yet its keen mix of efficiency, execution, and parking area cordial measuring makes it a champion among littler pickup trucks. The 2019 Ford Ranger doesn't quickly create an impression with regards to the manner in which it looks. We rate it at 6 out of 10, figuring it's a smidge better than expected for a moderate-sized pickup truck. The 2019 Ranger includes an adjusted front sash that imparts its fundamental topic to the Ford Edge hybrid SUV. Headlights extend out from a wide grille decorated with the major Ford blue oval and officer step into its plastic. A profound cut into the lower entryways gives the Ranger more visual energy from the side than its section-sided rivals. At the back, its rear end echoes the enormous marking topic, yet is generally to a great extent unremarkable. Expanded taxi renditions have a 6-foot bed, while team taxis include a 5-foot bed and front pivoted raised entryways. The Ranger isn't striking and reckless, yet it shouldn't be. Various appearance bundles include chains wheels, dressed guards in chrome or differentiating dark paint, and slap stickers on its bed sides. They're more about blaze than substance, in spite of the fact that the FX4 rough terrain bundle accompanies some rough terrain tech. The Ranger's inside is useful, barely expressive, either. Base XL and XLT trims accompany a dinky 4.2-inch radio screen flanked by various little catches. The 8.0-inch touchscreen discretionary on XLTs and standard on Lariats is better incorporated. Dark and light tan insides are on offer, the two of which are moderate and elegant. We'd like to see Ford take a page from its opponents with progressively fun inside tones and wraps up. Passage makes looking for a 2019 Ranger moderately simple, at any rate the extent that what's under the pickup truck's hood. The 2019 Ford Ranger rates 7 out of 10 on our scale, with focuses better than expected for its tremendous motor and smooth-moving transmission. Its 7,500-pound towing rating doesn't hurt, either. Try not to be put off by the span of its motor. At 2.3 liters, the turbo Ford defeats most contenders not with its 270 strength but rather with its 310 pound-feet of torque. The standard 10-speed programmed outfit's brisk, smooth changes independently appear to be in the correct gear amid our underlying sneak peek drive close San Diego. The Ranger will bark its back tires from a stop and doesn't ease up as its speedometer needle races toward unlawful rates. Portage rates the Ranger as fit for hauling as much as 7,500 pounds with a discretionary towing bundle. Raised drive expanded taxi forms have a 1,860-pound payload, as well. By the numbers, the Ranger weighs around 4,000 pounds in back drive design, yet that figure inflatables to about 4,500 pounds for a completely furnished team taxi with four-wheel drive. The Ranger's discretionary four-wheel drive framework is worked by means of a basic support-mounted handle. The low-maintenance framework isn't intended for use on dry asphalt. Officers with the discretionary FX4 bundle include some rough terrain footing control modes and a creep control framework that demonstrations like a mud-prepared journey control framework to load the pickup along at rates as low as 1 mile per hour or as high as 20 miles per hour, not at all like a comparative framework accessible on the Toyota Tacoma. The Ranger's doesn't shake with noisy brake actuator commotions. The Ford framework's wide-speed go implies it's valuable for low-speed towing, as well. One of the Ranger's few independent alternatives is a locking back differential, which is actuated at the tip of a support catch. Underneath, the Ranger rides on a different stepping stool outline with an autonomous front suspension and a strong back pivot hung on by leaf springs. That is standard toll for a fair-size pickup. Yet the Ranger rides with less energy than its rivals in many arrangements. Its electric controlling is immediate and smooth, with car-like accuracy again not averaged for pickups. The Ranger's solitary driving fault against its rivals is its moderately uproarious inside. Others have more stable stifling measures than different trims. However, even the all-inclusive taxi display we drove around San Diego had more street and twist commotion than we like to see. Most 2019 Ford Rangers on merchant parts are team taxis, so our 7 out of 10 rating applies to them. We'd dock a point for stretched-out taxis because of their almost feudal back seats, the back entryways open for capacity or pets, not generally grown-ups. Base Ranger XLs have sensibly strong front seats that offer tallness modification and a decent view out. Decide on the STX appearance bundle on the Ranger XL and Ford Rushes in progressively steady front seats with lumbar alteration for the driver. Models with power front seats, Lariats and some XLTs, incorporate stature and lumbar alteration for both front travelers. The group taxi's back seats are gotten to by means of wide entryways. Our 5'11" editorial manager had no issue passing the sit behind yourself test, despite the fact that foot space was at a higher cost than normal. The back seat incorporates a flounder-down armrest and a few trims with 2 little implicit cup holders, however its backrest isn't movable. No Ranger is luxurious inside. Hard plastics overwhelm entryway boards, the middle rear, and the dashboard. The Ranger Lariat has a decent sewed board for its dash top, yet it doesn't liven the state of mind enough for an additional point. We wish that Ford's inside creators were somewhat more inventive with textures, examples, and trim completions since all Rangers appear to be identical inside, paying little heed to cost. Storage room for littler things is restricted to wells in the entryway boards, a pocket before the rigging switch, an inside support canister, and a couple of receptacles underneath the back seats on a few variants. Expanded taxi Rangers include a 6-foot bed, while group taxis have a 5-foot bed. A shower and bed liner is discretionary. The 2019 Ford Ranger accompanies dynamic security tech we think about fundamental, so it ought to procure something like a better-than-expected score when government and autonomous analyzers at long last smack it against a divider. Until further notice, in any case, we'll need to hang tight for the NHTSA and the ES to play out their accident testing. Fortunately, all Rangers leave the automaker's Detroit territory get-together plant with programmed crisis braking with person-on-foot discovery. Among its rivals, just the Toyota Tacoma likewise includes this life-sparing tech as standard gear. That is a disgrace given how prevalent medium-sized pickup trucks are. A bundle with dynamic path control, vulnerable side screens, and versatile journey control is accessible on each variant of the Ranger. The 2019 Ford Ranger is accessible in only 3 trim dimensions, however a wide exhibit of choice bundles makes it simple to redo one tier enjoying. We rate the Ranger at 6 out of 10 with the point better than expected for the expansiveness of trim bundle decisions. On the off chance that all models accompanied Ford's great infotainment programming with its widescreen, this pickup would gain another point. The Bass Ranger XL costs about $25,400 with back-wheel drive. That is modest, however most purchasers will probably settle on the group taxi for about $2,100 more. Including four-wheel drive knocks the cost by another $4,000. That is over the top, however not out of line with contenders. The Ranger XL trim accompanies the rudiments, yet very little more. Power windows and locks, cooling, programmed crisis braking, a 4G LTE Wi-Fi hotspot, Bluetooth, and a 6-speaker AM/FM stereo with a solitary USB port are for the most part standard. Journey control, control mirrors, and remote keyless section costs about $1,100. Include a bed liner, trailer towing gear, and a locking back differential and the most essential four-wheel drive team taxi Ranger WeDar.